What's up, guys? It's Simon, and this is going to be the last video. This is the video response to Moody Thursday, who was talking about initiation and self-dedication. I'll link her video in the description below so you can check it out. Now, I'm going to be looking down sometimes at some point in this video because of what I wrote, and what I wrote is actually what I want to share with you guys. A very interesting thing she talked about was, what did she say? The seeker. And I just found that really interesting because, that's a whole new, what's the word? It's not light-hearted, but it's not coddling. I can't think of what the word is, but it's much nicer. Let's just put it that way. It's much nicer than saying the fool, which is kind of the same thing when you think about it. When you're coming to the practice, to the craft, or even just in spirituality in general, you're basically the fool. You're seeking out that knowledge. You're ignorant to what's ahead of you. But to put it in a nicer way, she says the seeker, and I really like that. And it's very accurate in its own right, because that's exactly what you're doing. You're seeking truth, you're seeking knowledge, you're seeking magic, you're seeking spirituality, And she talked about how some individuals want to be initiated or want to be dedicated really quickly after like a day or even a week of reading a Wicca book or a witchcraft book. And so I came up with this seeker's dedication that I wanted to share with you guys. But before I do that, I wanted to give you some suggestions. If you are on this path or wishing to embark this path, I do suggest that you try the year in a day method. That's what I did, and it worked very well for me. I also suggest that you go about the dedication in a general way, and you'll understand when I share my seeker's dedication, because I tried to make it very simple and very generic, so that way, since you are new to the practice, it's very likely you may not know your matron and or patron. You may not have a matron or a patron, or either. That's something that you discover whilst practicing. You may find that you don't work with the tools, so you don't want to be putting that in your spell work, or oh my gosh, everyone is just blowing up my notifications. It's hard to stay focused when that's happening. Hold on, let me try something. Oh, I can't. Okay. I was gonna try and turn the notification sound off, but can't do that. So I need to get in the practice of remembering to turn it off before I do my videos. But you live and learn, right? Anyway, that kind of just ties into the whole thing. Like, you live and learn. You live and learn what your practice is. You live and learn what you hold true to your heart, and that you want to make a daily practice, or a weekly practice, or a monthly practice, or yearly, or what have you. And so I really suggest that you take your time. I know I've said this, I don't know if I've said this in other videos, but I know that I've said this to someone else on YouTube. Patience is a virtue, and it's one of the best attributes to have. It's so rewarding. I'm going to try and share my story in regards to patience, because I got a very big reward for that, and yeah, it was very special to me. So anyway, try to have patience before jumping into it, because a dedication is a very sacred, important thing. you're basically making a commitment. You are making a promise, and it's not. You could renege on it and back out on it, but that just goes against your character. That makes a mark against your character, and that's something that nobody wants. So really take your time, meditate on it, or at least ask yourself. If you can't do a full-fledged meditation, at least ask yourself, is this something that I want? Does it really resonate with me? Or am I doing this for fun? If you're doing this for fun, then I suggest that you just do this seeker's dedication, or make your own, variation based on the one that I provide for you. Because it's something that's kind of like a temporal type of dedication, where you're just dedicating yourself to this path of study, or to this embarkment that you're on. Not necessarily a permanent dedication, but just a dedication of truth, and a dedication to studying this. And once you're done studying, then you can, if you are not comfortable keeping up with it, if you don't wish to keep up with it, or what have you, maybe you do, then you can choose then to permanently dedicate yourself to it. But this way you can kind of get an idea of what a ritual would feel like. You can get an idea of what you want to do in regards to a dedication, and you can get an understanding of how powerful dedicating yourself is, and how it really is a commitment. It's almost like a marriage with yourself and with your path. That's how serious it is. At least that's how it was for me. Like, the energy was just very profound when I did it. So, like I said, this dedication is for those who are just beginning their magical practice, or want to be initiated / dedicated right away. So you just find that this path is really awesome, and you want to be as serious as possible. But you don't know who your matron and or who your patron is. You don't know if you want one. You don't have a concrete foundation as regards to your path. But you do want to have some type of feeling of getting initiated or dedicated. So this following words that I'm about to say is kind of like my template of a seeker's dedication. And I'll write it in the description box below, so that way you can copy and paste it or whatever. So it says, I blank, so you put your name in there, dedicate myself, or initiate, whichever word you feel is more appropriate, myself to this path of study. May this path contain nothing but truth. And that's something that I kind of, without me knowing it, before I started this path back years ago, when I was like 14, I mentioned this in my response to the YouTube Pagan Challenge of how did you find your path. I said to basically the universe, the cosmos, help me live honestly, help me live and find my truth. And so I wanted to incorporate that in the template, so that way, even if this is not your truth, that you find truth in this path, that you're not misguided, and that you find the truth in this path in regards to yourself, whether it being, you don't commit yourself to this fully, or you do commit yourself to this fully. So I really wanted to add that little line in there. And then it says, by the Lord and Lady I'm guided, by the spirits of air I'm wise, by the spirits of water I'm cleansed, by the spirits of earth I'm strong, by the spirits of fire I'm blessed. And then you can finish it with, blessed be, Amen, Ayea, Namaste, or Ashe, or any other word that you feel is appropriate for closure. I'm going to explain to you some of it. So I'm not going to explain the first two lines because I kind of already did and they're self-explanatory. But the Lord and Lady, this is regards to a witchcraft practice. The template is anyway, but you could easily, if you feel drawn to divine masculine energy, you can just say, by the Lord, I'm guided. The same way with divine feminine energy, you could say, by the Lady, I'm guided. I wanted to make it pretty universal, so that's why I didn't use any names. By using Lord and Lady, you're basically addressing divine masculine and divine feminine, and you're not committing yourself to any god or goddess. So that way it gives you the... I'm sideways. Whoops. That way it gives you the freedom to explore divinity in all its aspects, or whatever aspects you deem appropriate for your practice. And also it gives you that divine guidance to sticking to the course of truth. By the spirit of air, I'm wise. That's kind of self-explanatory. Oops. I'm hoping that the spirits of air, whether it be this... Again, I'm sideways. Do forgive me. The spirits will, whether it be the sylphs, or they be pixies, or they be, I don't know, the Lord of Air, Peralda, or maybe it's the angel Raphael. That's why I just kept that spirits and not guardians, because the guardians refers to sylphs, but spirits relates to all the energies associated with the element air. And that way it also, maybe you don't resonate with the energies that you do the research on. Maybe you think Michael is related to the air. So that way it gives you the freedom to explore that and figure out for yourself what you deem appropriate. And sorry, I have something poking me. And so it's just going to help you give it that wisdom and teach you on this practice. By the spirits of water, I'm cleansed. Same thing, using generic term spirits, so that way you don't feel bound to anything. And then it's just keeping you cleansed, so that way you come with a pure heart, with a pure heart and a pure mind and pure intentions, and find hopefully what it is you're looking for. By the spirits of earth, I'm strong. Now, this means not necessarily in a physical sense within muscle, but where you're strong-willed. You have courage of conviction. You're steadfast. You're committed. Your commitment is strong. That's what that was in reference to. By the spirits of fire, I'm blessed. That basically just means that, you're blessed. You are gifted with the knowledge. You are, gifted with little bits and bobs, whatever they may be, that show up in your life. Maybe it's, with spell work, you get blessed by the spirits in regards to your spell work, or through your meditation. And then, your finishing word. And I wanted to keep it short and sweet, so that way, again, I didn't want to make it any specific, so that way you didn't feel bound to anything. Also, it makes it easier to remember and makes it easy to say, but it still has good intention and meaning in it, so that way you do get that, that little initiation, dedication feeling. And I didn't want to put any specific oils or herbs or anything like that, because, everyone has... Again, I'm sideways. I think I'm just really tired and lazy. I'm kind of like slouching the camera over. But, I didn't want to put those specific herbs or oils, because, maybe you didn't feel comfortable using them. Maybe they don't resonate with you. Or maybe you don't have them, or have the means to purchase them. So, it's a very raw template to work with, and hopefully it covers all the basics, or at least most of them, and it provides people with a means of enjoyment. That's really all it's supposed to be. You're really just supposed to live your joy and be happy with who you are and who you become. So as always, thank you for watching, and blessed be my dear witchlings.